Hey Vic, a couple things for you to start off. On injuries, will Graham Glasgow practice today?
He will not. Dotson won't, and obviously Bassey won't.
Right. And then Driscoll and Spencer.
Driscoll is and Spencer are still going through the protocols. They have not been cleared yet.
Gotcha. What was your reaction to AJ Bouye's suspension?
Yeah, I was disappointed for him. Players have to make really, really good judgments with the people they trust, with their career and with their finances. And obviously something went wrong with this person that he dealt with and trusted. And, it's a disappointing situation for everybody.
Last thing for me now at corner, you've lost your top three guys from just a couple weeks ago. After Jeudy and Bosby, what are some of your options for the sub packages?
Tolliver, Will, and Duke.
Next one, Royce.
Hey, Vic, Bouye's had a tough go this year. The injuries, and he struggled to come back a little bit. What is your assessment of his play, and do you think he can bounce back in 2021? Does this team still hold him in as high regard as when it acquired him?
Yeah, he did have a choppy season, and I think the injuries played a part in that. I think he got hurt in the first half of the first game, then missed 5 or 6 games, came back, got hurt during that game, missed the following game. And they thought he was, these last couple games was starting to play better. So, we'll just have to see. But it was a rough season for him with the injuries interrupting his availability and play, and now having to deal with the PED suspension.
And then just one other thing. It's fortuitous now that you got Will Parks in ready to play. Will his role necessarily be expanded, or was he going to be counted upon to kind of do a little bit of cornerback as well, even before?
Who is that, Will?
Happened?
Is that Will?
Parks, yes.
He'll probably stay inside, and be one of the guys that will play either nickel, dime, or safety. And, we don't plan on playing him at corner unless we have an emergency.
Next one, Jeff Blake.
Vic, I guess I'm just wondering, with the injuries, COVID, with your coaching staff, the players, the no quarterback game, now AJ's suspension, do you have any spaces left on the bingo card this year? I mean, how do you look at all this?
I don't know if there's any spaces left, but, I don't look at it that way. I just, it's just another deal of adversity that you have to deal with and get through and move on. And that's what these guys have done a good job of all year, and I expect them to continue to do that for the next 4 weeks.
Did you have an inkling about AJ's suspension and could sort of think about what you would do before this, or is this something you guys had to dive into yesterday?
I knew it could be coming because AJ told me about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. He told me about it a couple weeks ago. So we knew it might be coming. We didn't know when. This week was earlier than we thought. So, I think that answers your question. I did know. I didn't know when, and it's a week earlier than possibly we thought.
Next one, Brandon, before we open it up to the entire group. Go ahead.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you too now, because I want to follow up on Jeff's question about AJ, or your answer, AJ telling you. Does that carry more weight, or does that carry more weight with a guy that'll come up and tell you, just like we heard Melvin Gordon immediately called John Elway when he had his deal, that a guy's going to come up and say, hey, this is happening, or this may be happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's always the right thing to do, I think. And AJ, did the right thing in alerting us to what could be happening. Usually as a coach, you don't find out about that stuff. Technically, I wouldn't have found out about it if AJ hadn't told me. That was his choice to tell me. So, yeah, I'm glad he did, and I believe it's the right thing to do.
All right, and then I'm curious, I'm not sure how much you track this, but you guys are second lowest in running back targets, just behind Tennessee, and second in percentage 0.1 behind the Rams. Should you be targeting your running backs in the passing game more, or are you fine with that number?
Well, definitely we'd like to, spread the ball around as much as we can. We haven't gotten it to the backs as much. It was nice to see a screen pass the other day have some success. I think it comes down to most running backs catches. Not all of them are screens, check downs, the third or fourth read. And, we haven't gotten to many of those this year.
Next one, Troy Wright.
Coach, thanks for the time. I know you're not on Twitter, but after the game, Jeudy initially tweeted, he said, "At least I got my conditioning in." He appeared frustrated. I think the tweet was then since deleted. Do you sense he's frustrated? Does he have to work through a rookie wall? Because obviously these last 3 games, the production hasn't been there. Is that defenses? Is that him? What's going on with Jerry?
Well, the last 3 games, the game before this past one, obviously he wasn't going to get many balls thrown to him that day. I don't think he's frustrated, I don't think he's hit the wall at all. I think he just like to have more catches, and I don't know of any receiver that doesn't feel that way. And, I'm glad he's a little frustrated that he's not getting more production. We want our guys to feel that way. I don't know what he said or didn't say on Twitter, but I'm okay with Jerry. Jerry's in a good spot.
Next, we'll go to Scott Fowler with the Charlotte Observer.
Vic, long time no see.
I was wondering if there was any guys left from Charlotte from when I was there. That was a long time ago.
A couple of us are limping along here, but you look about the same. So
Charles Chandler still there?
He's not with us, but I still am in close contact with him. I'll tell him you said hello.
Yeah, tell him I said hello.
I will. I wanted to ask you about those days. I know you've been a lot of places in the NFL, but I wondered if you could speak directly about your time in Charlotte with the Panthers, and particularly if there was a fondest memory or two that you had from those mid-'90s seasons.
Well, the fondest memory I have from being in Charlotte was my daughter was born there in 1996. So that was a great day. Obviously I think our first 2 seasons there were kind of special. We started off poorly, as you would expect the expansion team to do. Had some close losses in there, but then I believe, won 7 of our last 11 to finish 7-9, which at that point was the best expansion record ever in any pro sports. And then we had the great year the next year, and went to the NFC Championship game and had a lot of fond memories of there. I remember the one play, the Sam Mills in our first win, getting that interception in Clemson Stadium to make the big play in that game. A lot of good memories there.
Thank you.
Next one, Jonathan Alexander from the Charlotte Observer.
Hey, Vic, thanks for doing this. A couple questions for you. First of all, what are your thoughts on Brian Burns based on what you've seen on him from film? And then I'll ask the second question after this.
Yeah, he's very active, really good pass rusher, athletic, has good speed. Definitely a guy that we need to know about and be aware of, and know that, he's a good pass rusher, and, we're going to have to account for him.
And the Panthers use, Jeremy Chin as like a hybrid player who could play multiple positions, do different things for them. Have you noticed, just based on, your years in the league, have you noticed a recent trend in using those type of players recently?
Yeah, there is. A lot of teams most teams are playing 5 defensive backs out on the field a good bit of the time. And they found a niche for him to excel, and he does a really good job for them. He's listed as a linebacker sometimes, but he's a defensive back and, playing linebacker, and he's one of those hybrid guys that can do both. There's not a lot of them that can do it effectively, both run and pass, but Chin seems to be one of the better ones at it.
Next one, Robert Mays from The Athletic. Robert, go ahead.
Hey, Vic. Sorry about that. I was having trouble with my computer. I just wanted to ask you, when did Brandon Staley first get on your radar, and what about him just made him an attractive piece and somebody you wanted to add to your staff originally?
Well, we were looking for an outside linebacker coach, and we were looking, kind of had a frame that we wanted a younger guy that that I could train to coach the outside linebackers, and he did that with me for all of the off season and about half of the regular season, where I ran those meetings with the outside linebackers, and he sat in there with me. And then I turned it over to him. But he's a very impressive guy. He's got really good football knowledge. He's a football savant in that he loves the game, the historical aspect of the game, likes to research it, wants to be up on all the new things, and he's done a great job out there in LA.
Time for a few more. Next one, George.
Yeah, Vic, you and the players have talked quite a bit about creating more turnovers this week. Is that something that it's like an art to create turnovers, or is it something you can practice more of, or is it something that involves quite a bit of luck?
Well, all of the above. You need to create your turnovers, though. We got to go get them. We got to jar a ball out. We've got to, pressure the quarterback into some bad throws. We got to have tight coverage to where we get some batted balls, like the last one we got against New Orleans when we broke up a pass and Isang got the ball to tip. We need more of that. And you're right, it's been a problem for us. The turnovers and takeaways have been a problem for us. We haven't gotten enough on defense, and we've given it up too much on offense.
Final one comment.
Hey, Vic, last year as Alexander Johnson was settling into his role, you said he was doing some reckless driving out there at times. What about this year? How would you say he's progressed in his first full year as a starter?
He's occasionally still guilty of some reckless driving, but not as much. And I like AJ. I've liked him since we started playing him day one. I think he's a really good inside linebacker, both versus the run and the pass. And I'm really glad we have him. I like him as a player. I like him as a person. And I think he's got a really good future moving forward here.